Hey, what is going on, business builders? Tyler Sorensen coming at you guys with another training. I want to go over the cash flow quadrant with you guys. This is a philosophy and a principle that I learned at 20 years old. One of the first books that I ever read was by the author Robert Kiyosaki, the author of Rich Dad Poor Dad, the author of Cash Flow Quadrant, which I'm going to talk about. And he also wrote the book Business of the 21st Century, which is about network marketing. And just how the world is shifting and the way that money flows and the way that people create an income, the way that people produce money and finances for themselves is not what most people think it is. This was something that was revolutionary to the way that I looked at how I make money. This is the way, revolutionary to the way that I just looked at business as a whole, over, whether it was, working a job or, starting a business, and what kind of business, one would start within that. So guys, this was something that I learned at 20 years old that has absolutely changed and altered the course and direction of my life. And because of this philosophy and because of what I learned through just this principle that I'm going to go over with you guys, I now have complete freedom. I have total time and financial freedom over my life at 23 years old. And I've actually been able to make a full-time income and not have to, work a job or be somewhere that I didn't want to be at, trading my life for a paycheck, for now over 2 years. And, I'm super, super excited. I feel like I'm just getting started. And my passion lies in helping other people get educated, because before you know something, you can never apply it, right? But I want to help people become educated on business, on the way that money actually works in the economy, and to be able to apply that in their life. So guys, to dive deep into what the cash flow quadrant is. So Robert Kiyosaki, like I said, is the guy that wrote the book Cash Flow Quadrant. And if you guys look at the quadrant here on the left-hand side of your screen, this is going to break it down really, really simply for you guys. So in the upper left-hand quadrant, you have somebody that is an employee. They exchange time and effort for an income. And if they don't work, they don't get paid, right? So a lot of you, including myself, have worked a job at some point. You've been paid by the hour, paid on salary. Maybe you're doing that right now. And the reality is, if you don't show up to that job, the money stops coming in, right? You have no leverage. If you go on vacation, your paycheck goes on vacation. When you punch out of the clock, the money stops coming in. And you're also capped on the amount of money that you can make, right? You're either making $10 an hour, $15 an hour, 20, 30, 40, 50, 100, whatever it is. You could be making $1,000 an hour, and that might sound great, but there's still a cap there, right? It doesn't matter how hard you work. You're only going to be making whatever that dollar amount is per hour. And yeah, you can work more overtime and you can work more hours, but if you're constantly trading your time in order to become wealthy, you're never going to get wealthy, because you're going to eventually run out of time. We all have the same 24 hours in a day, but as an employee, you are you're trading your time and your efforts for a paycheck. Quite literally, you are trading your life away for $1. And I like to think that, especially as we become older, we would never trade away an hour off of our life for $10, for $20, for $50, whatever that number is. Even if it's $10,000, guys, when you are at the end of your life, you are not going to trade away. You are not going to let, God come down and cut an hour off of your life or shave a day off of your life for any amount of money, because your money always returns, but your time never will. Right? And I think that's a really interesting way to look at, making money as an employee. Going down to the second quadrant on the bottom left, this would be the S quadrant, or somebody that is self-employed, or a small business owner, or a specialty. They work for themselves. They might make good money, but they have no time to enjoy it. So guys, this would be anybody that, would be like a doctor or a lawyer. They have their own practice, or maybe they own their own small business, right? They're self-employed, and that's great. Their time is now worth more than somebody that is per se an employee, because they're working for themselves. However, if they stop showing up to that business every single day, like over like a month's time, a week's time, a couple months' time, like that business is going to collapse without them being there to work on the business. Therefore, they don't own a business. They own a job. They own a job, because if they don't show up, they don't get paid, right? If they stop showing up, their business is going to collapse. Everything's going to go under, and they're going to stop making money. So they don't have any residual. They don't have any leverage. They don't have anything that's paying them while they sleep. They don't have anything that's paying them when they're on vacation or around the clock, guys, doing whatever it is that they're doing. And then this was where my mindset shifted. When I saw the right-hand side of the quadrant, the right side is B for big business owner in the top right, and then in the bottom right would be I for investor, guys. So, this is when I made the shift. I looked over and I said, I want to be on the right-hand side of the quadrant, because a big business owner in the top right, guys, a business owner has systems working for them that builds them assets. They aren't subject to showing up at their business every single day in order to create an income, right? They get to a point, they build their business to a point where there's a system running for them. They are able to leverage time. They're able to leverage other people in order to let this business be growing with or without them. This is how you tap into true wealth creation, is by being able to get paid while you sleep, being able to get paid while you're on vacation, right? And being able to get paid off of just your own, or more than just your own 24 hours in a day, right? If you are the only person that contributes to your paycheck, you will always have one of three problems, right? You'll either have a lot of money and no time because you're always working, right? You have a lot of time and no money because you're never working, or no time and no money because what you're doing just isn't working, guys. And to transition into the right side of the quadrant is where you want to be. And this is why 95% of the world's money is controlled by 5% of the population. The 5% of people that control 95% of the world's money, they don't live on the left-hand side of the quadrant. They are not an employee. They are not a small business owner. They own big businesses, and or they are investors, guys. The 5%, the 5% wealthiest people on planet Earth are on the right-hand side of the quadrant. They're all big business owners and investors that let their systems and they let their dollars work for them, guys. And to dive into the funnest conversation of them all in regard to this is taxes, right? In the United States, we are all taxed on income, not revenue. Does that make sense, guys? So when you are an employee, right, every dollar that you make is considered income, and you are taxed before you even get the check in your hand, right? You work so many hours, you're paid by the hour, or you're paid on salary. When you get that paycheck back every week or 2 weeks, whatever it is, Uncle Sam has already taken out the taxes, guys, and you are taxed on every single dollar that you make, because that is all considered income. As a business owner, every dollar that you make is not considered income. As a business owner, every dollar that you make is considered revenue, and you don't even pay taxes on that money until after you've deducted your expenses and you've paid yourself first. This is how a business owner is able to bring in money. It's looked at as revenue. They can write off these different things as expenses. Things like, guys, owning a home-based business, I write off my phone bill, I write off my mileage, I write off my rent, I write off my internet, I write off almost every single thing that I was already using anyway that I could not write off as an employee, that I could not write off, you know what I'm saying, being on the left-hand side of the quadrant. As a big business owner, you have the ability to get taxed. You're not taxed on your revenue, all the money that's coming into your business. You're only taxed on what's left over after the expenses and you've paid yourself, right, guys? So instead of being taxed at the highest percent on all of your money, you're taxed, on a smaller percentage on less of that dollar amount. Therefore, you are paying less in taxes. This is how companies like Amazon, that are multi-billion-dollar companies, pay in $0 in taxes in a year. Guys, there's a difference between revenue and income, and we are taxed on our income. We are not taxed on revenue. And guys, the rich people don't work for money. Rich people leverage systems, and they employ dollars to work for them. Rich people don't work for money, right? You don't trade your time for money in order to become wealthy. That makes no sense. You want to leverage yourself, find something that can work around the clock, whether or not you are, quote unquote, punched in, working on it or not, and you want your dollars to work for you. Don't trade your life away for a paycheck, guys. Money is not the most important thing in the world. I think we would all agree that it is not, but that is why you need to find a way to free yourself up so you never have to worry about money ever again, and you don't have to trade away precious hours of your life and time that you're never going to get back just to make a stinking paycheck, just to make a piece of paper. Guys, you don't have to do that. we live in a totally different world, than our grandparents and parents and, the baby boomers grew up with. So in recap, decide what quadrant are you currently in? Are you an employee? Are you a small business owner? And it's all good if you are, but what are you doing to get on the right-hand side of the quadrant, guys? Me personally, I've been in the network marketing industry now for 3 years. And, I've been able to make a full-time income, from my phone, from my computer, from my home, like literally wearing athletic shorts and a t-shirt, building a business and creating systems that are going to, keep growing, whether or not I'm working on it or not, whether or not I'm actually quote unquote working on the business or doing anything or not, or if I'm sleeping or if I'm on vacation or if I'm taking, a trip to the beach, whatever it is that you're doing. That's what it's done for me. And I've seen it do wonders, for so many other people, millions of other people on a much greater scale, that I'm obviously still growing towards myself, guys. But lastly, once you get on that right side of the quadrant, I like to dream build. I like to have fun, so ask yourself, once you get to that right side of the quadrant and you get to where you want to be, what color is your second Lambo going to be? I think mine's going to be black, maybe white. I'm not sure. It all depends what the first one is. But guys, that is all that I have for you this time around. I just wanted to give you guys some business education and show you how the cash flow quadrant is set up, the way that it works, and how you can go from being on the left side to the right side if that's what you desire. And if you guys are watching this, that is obviously why you are here in the first place, guys. So hopefully you found value in this. Hopefully this made sense. If you guys have any questions, reach out to me, put them in the comments, ask them. Don't keep them to yourself. If you have them, I'm sure somebody else does as well. But with that, guys, peace out. We'll talk to you guys soon.